Welcome back. I'm Cody, the Rad Retro Dad, and I've got kind of a fun video for you guys today. I'm going to show you how you can play any of your games, no matter if they're modern games or not, and feel like you're playing in the 80s.
Come on, let's all go to the Rad Retro Show. Master of the Retroverse, he's the Rad Retro Dad. He's the Rad Retro Dad.
Alright guys, so the program that we're going to be talking about today is called ShaderGlass. You may or may not have heard of this program, but this is a really cool program. You can easily get it on Steam, and it's free. You can also just search Google and you can find it. It's a free program available to anybody. You don't have to pay for it. So let's go ahead. I've downloaded it on Steam and I'm going to launch it right now. And what it'll do is it'll just open up this window, and this window, the shaders kind of like live in there, and whatever's behind it, the shader will be applied to. It's really that simple. And you can put this program into full screen mode. So what is a shader? Well, shader is like an overlay effect that gives your game multiple different effects. It's really to give like old school games that kind of CRT feel is what a lot of people use them for. But this program provides so much more than that. So all it is just shaders. It's just a whole library of different kind of shaders, and we're going to open it up. Now you can just choose next and active, and then you can hit a random and it'll pick a random effect to do. But if you just go and you do choose from library, it will open up a massive library of shaders. There are hundreds of shaders in here. I'm not going to go over every single shader. That would be insane. But you got the community favorites, and I think that this one houses what most people would consider what they would use. And as you scroll through them, it will apply different. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the shaders during gameplay. And the game that we're looking at right now is Dirt 5. And if you've watched my racing arcade video, which I'll have linked over here at the end, it was super fun. And this particular widescreen CRT bezel was my favorite one. Dirt 5 is probably my favorite arcade racer right now. It is so colorful, it's intense, it's somewhere, it's not really it's not a driving simulator game at all. This is very much an arcade game, but it is super cool. And as you can see, Game Boy effects, kind of gives you that monochrome look. Let's see what it would look like on the Game Boy. If this came out on the Game Boy, oh my gosh, it would have killed. It would have been the best game ever. And Game Boy Advance. And then also PSP. These video game bezels are available on RetroArch. And you can apply those in your arcade builds using RetroArch. But this program allows you to use them with anything. It doesn't even have to be a game. You can overlay it on a program or a video. Whatever you want it to be. You just plop that window over the top of whatever's playing and you experience it. So now we're playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, and what I'm doing is I'm streaming my Xbox to my PC to be able to do this. And so I wanted to kind of show you that you can really apply this to any game, regardless of whether it's PC or console. As long as you have a way to stream your games from your console to your PC, or like using video capture cards and overlaying it, there's a numerous amount of ways to accomplish this. But what I did is I just used the Xbox app to stream Elder Scrolls Oblivion to my PC. And you can see kind of all the different... I didn't do every single filter. I just went through and kind of picked my favorite ones and did them. And kind of showed each game with these effects. But there are hundreds and hundreds of effects. And, you know, I had to do PSP because, you know, the Elder Scrolls game that never came out on the PSP. I think there's a playable, like, version of it that's, like, very unfinished on the PSP that you can download for the emulator. And you could probably mod a PSP and play it on there somehow, but I don't see the point. And then Hogwarts Legacy, another beautiful game. And if you haven't played Hogwarts Legacy, give it a try. Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan. I'm not really a big Harry Potter fan, but I love this game. It is so cool. And so I gave you some, you know, examples of it with different filters here. And again, if this game came out in like the Game Boy or the Game Gear, oh my gosh, could you imagine? So, just a lot of different effects. I thought these were fun. Alright, so I've got my Rad Retro Dad video game loaded up here, and I'm sorry it's kind of a little wonky. The way that the video capture and everything is, it kind of cuts off that one side of the game. So anyway, just know that's what's happening, but you can still see the effect. The main options are in your input and your output and your shaders. So input, you can actually go to pixel size and you can change it. So if you go to 1, it makes everything sharper and less blurry. Like you can read how many lives I have homing arrows, you can see what your score is, but the higher the pixel, the less you can read on the screen. All the way up to just blurry as can be. So you can adjust it to your preference. And I kind of like it right around 2. I think that looks pretty cool for this game anyways. Other games, it just depends on the effect that you're trying to get. And then in output, you have mode, which will give you 2 different options. Glass is a windowed mode. It's not full screen. Now you can put it into full screen with a keyboard command, but the glass is just a window that you move around and you set it over the top of another window and it will apply that filter to whatever it's sitting over. Clone will actually clone the entire screen. Alright, the other option you have is window. It's solid or it's click through. This is important. If your window is solid, then you will click on the shader program and activate it. If the window is click through, then you can use your mouse to click around in the program that's behind it. I know that sounds confusing, but it allows you to interact with the program behind you. So if you're playing a game that requires the mouse, you want to have it set to click through. That way you'll interact with your game rather than interacting with the ShaderGlass program. Flip will actually flip the screen, so it's kind of mirrored. So you flip it vertical, and you can flip it horizontal, or you can turn vertical off and turn horizontal off, and then you're back to normal. The only thing I could think that this would be for is for like an arcade game, that if you wanted to have your monitor like down in an arcade and then it's reflecting via a mirror, then you use those to make sure that you're seeing the image properly. And I just think that this is super cool. It's an option for people like me that build arcades, and it gives you a whole bunch of different options to use a whole bunch of different styles of cabinets. Alright, the other thing is is you've got a whole slew of aspect ratios that you can set it to. The other thing is orientation. So if you have an arcade machine that you want to put this in, and it's got vertical games like Pac-Man, for example. Pac-Man, the original arcade game, is a vertical game. And so you can apply this effect vertically as well, and it'll change it so that it's viewed properly. Again, very cool for like applying different effects for like arcade projects. You can put it into full screen. I found it's easier to just use the Control-Shift-G to put it in there. And then you can take a snapshot. All your shader libraries are in the shader menu. You can choose from the library. You can hit next. You can hit random. You can import your own custom shaders. I've not done that, but I'm sure there's a community out there that creates these shaders. And so when you go to the library, then you have all your options. And another one I was going to show you, if I can find it, I think it's in miscellaneous. Yes. So in miscellaneous, they have a cocktail cabinet option. I'm just going to move this off to the side for a minute. And this is really, really cool. If you wanted to do a cocktail style arcade game, you could have a player on each side of the screen, and they could see the screen oriented to the way that they need to see it. And anyways, this is a really, really cool option. And the only solution that I've found that just works and works well. All right, so that's the ShaderGlass program. I know I rambled on here. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to talk through this video, but I'm just having an off day, I guess. But anyways, there is so many applications for this, especially if you're in the arcade hobby. And if you can think of any other applications or any other uses for this program, leave them in the comments and let me know. I think this program is super cool and it's free. I would have paid for this program, but it's free. So go check it out. Re-download all your Steam library and play like it's 1991. And until next time, stay rad and stay retro.